From League Safe World Headquarters, it's Fantasy Football Almost Daily. With Paul Charchia, Matt Harrison, Christian Peterson, and Brian Johnson.
Welcome to another edition of the video version of Fantasy Football Almost Daily. I am Paul Charchia, and my co-hosts today are Brian Johnson and Christian Peterson. Hi, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hello again.
Good to have you here. We've now had the dress rehearsal week of the NFL season. Lots of storylines, but none bigger than what happened with the Cowboys, and we'll get to that in just a minute. In the meantime, a reminder, you should use League Safe. We feel very strongly here that you should use League Safe, I can safely say. We handle all of your online entry fee needs. All you have to do is spend about 2 minutes getting your league set up on League Safe, and then we really take it from there. We nag your deadbeats. We give you one single link that you can just send to your whole league to pay. Everybody just pays online with the simplicity of like buying a book at Amazon, and then we store the league funds for the year. Nobody's paying their water bill on the league funds, and then the day the season ends, we're ready to pay out. So we encourage you to give it a try. And also as a special note, if you've got league members, team owners that all have bank accounts, you can deposit money into LeagueSafe for free. Most people tend to default to the credit card option, but if you have everybody just pay by bank account, there's no cost. The credit card option does have a cost because we have a cost for doing business with credit cards. So we encourage you to try that. And if you have not tried LeagueSafe lately, why don't you try it again? Because it's changed a lot over the years and gotten way cooler.
Yeah, we have apparel now. We're legit.
That's that. Now you know it's a real company.
Yeah, we have swag.
Yeah. Totally. Who needs our A+ Better Business Bureau rating when we have a shirt with an embroidered shirt with our logo on it? Yes, that is important. All right, let's get to the Cowboys.
Well, by the way, before we get there, do you remember when Amazon was just books?
I do remember it. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Buying a book on Amazon.
Probably
I could have said diapers on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, now books are like one of the last things you think about buying on Amazon because you can buy literally everything else.
No, I mean, human trafficking is the last thing I think about on Amazon because I think it's really hard to buy humans on Amazon.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's like black market Amazon that we don't know about.
Yeah.
That's just Amazon.uk probably. We don't deal in that, in that realm.
It might be Amazon. Like Darfur, I don't know. That's anyway. We've taken sort of a dark turn this whole thing here. Let's go to the Cowboys. Obviously, Tony Romo is going to be out for what appears to be, we think maybe sometime in the Halloween range.
Is he though?
They haven't ruled him out for week 1.
He's got a back brace.
He's in a back brace.
Yeah, whatever. He's not playing week 1, that's for sure. And I think he'll be on the PUP list at a minimum. And I'll tell you what. If they don't put him on the PUP list, they're stupid because now they're just tempting fate. In my mind, and I'm not a doctor. When you put him on the PUP list, now you can't touch him for 6 weeks and you avoid the temptation. And there will probably be some moments of temptation because Dak Prescott's a rookie, right? His first month or two is probably going to have some ups and downs. And the last thing I think they're going to want to do for the longevity of Tony's career is rush him back early when you've broken a bone in your back. Maybe it's going to turn out there's a scenario where it won't hurt. He could come back in week 2 and it's just the same as week 7, but that seems unlikely. Let him get healthy and see what he can do once he's healthy.
You would think that that's where this is headed, right? I agree. It seems silly that they haven't ruled him out for week 1 and that they're saying he might still play. It just
also, by the way. Why not give Dak Prescott, he's in the middle of having one of the best rookie preseason performances we've seen at the quarterback position, right? I mean, Andrew Luck had a great one. Why not just give him the run?
Well, how good does he have to play to keep Romo on the bench when Romo's ready to go? Because don't forget, Romo's getting paid what? $15, $16, $17, $20 million? Are they going to just bench him when he comes back?
Jerry Jones, I saw something today. Jerry Jones would not rule out the comparison was the Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady deal, where at the beginning of Brady's career, he came on for an injured Drew Bledsoe, and he was just so good that Bledsoe never got his job back. And Jerry Jones did not rule that type of situation out.
Well, and why would you?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Dallas and with all of the injuries that Romo has had, and how feeble, he's looked and how frail he appears to be, you shouldn't be guaranteeing his job back. If Romo's ready to come back in week 8 and the Cowboys are sitting at 6-2 and Dak Prescott's played pretty well,
Yeah, then they keep rolling with
I
them
think
for
you
sure.
keep rolling with them.
It's that dramatic,
Yeah.
if they're 6-2 in a top.
And that's
So,
plausible.
I mean,
let's talk fantasy.
Yeah, so the question is, can Dak Prescott possibly do this in the regular season? We do have. So you mentioned it's maybe one of the best rookie preseason performances ever. Well, I went back just over the last couple of years just to look to see, are there examples of some other quarterbacks who had great preseasons? And lo and behold, there are. Just last year, Brett Hundley for the Packers completed 70% of his passes for 630 yards, 7 touchdowns and 1 interception, 130 quarterback ranking.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but Dak has done this entirely with first-team offense, except 3
Sort of,
plays.
yeah.
Except 3 plays. He's been first-team offense the whole time.
Yep.
Brett Hundley was mopping up, a bunch of scrubs, and
He was
second
with
and third.
with scrubs. He's throwing the football to scrubs though too, and he's
Wow,
behind the scrub
still.
offensive line.
Still.
Okay, here's another example.
All right.
Not a rookie, but from last year. EJ Manuel had a 146.9 QB rating. That's almost perfect, and we know EJ Manuel is garbage.
He is garbage.
Ryan Nassib from the Giants, their
Yeah.
backup, each of the last 2 years, he has been lights out. In his rookie preseason year, 588 yards and 5 touchdowns. So all I'm saying, I agree with you.
Again,
It's-
these are like those running backs who have the gigantic numbers. You're leading most of the time. Your leading preseason running backs get cut because they were doing it against a bunch of slappies in the fourth quarter. So I think these examples are not fair comparisons.
If
to
Tony
Prescott.
Romo was completely healthy, would we be viewing Dak Prescott the same way we viewed Brett Hundley last year? So Hundley had no chance of playing behind Aaron Rodgers. He lit up the preseason. Oh, okay, maybe they've got something with him. He's a late round draft pick. Well, Dak Prescott was a late round draft pick. There were 6 or 7 quarterbacks taken before him this year. So I'm just playing devil's advocate because it's very difficult to look at what he's done and not be impressed. But a part of me just feels like it's not real life. He's playing against vanilla offenses or vanilla defenses in the preseason. So I don't know. To be honest, I'm trying to figure this out myself because I don't know what to believe at this point. He has looked so good, but I'm trying to have a dose of reality.
It's
along
like
with it.
unprecedented, this kind of situation. I can't remember a situation similar to this going into the season where a big name quarterback goes out and there's a rookie that's played this well that has everyone thinking
I
it could be a
can't
top
remember a
10
situation
player
either,
or
yeah.
be a total bust. And you just have to wait and see. Basically, it's
The things he
everyone's
has
going with their gut at this
Yeah.
point.
And
That's
the
all you
things
can
he
do.
certainly has going for him is this great offensive line that is going to give him time to throw. And
Right.
that of course, is a huge thing, especially with young quarterbacks, is if you give them time, then, they can sit back there and find a receiver and deliver the ball to him. So I think that's important to note here. And the supporting cast. He's got what we think is going to be an elite running back in Ezekiel Elliott. He's got Des Bryant, who, if there's anybody in the NFL that you can just throw the ball up in the air and hope he comes down with it,
just
it's
get in
Des
the right
Bryant.
area code, and Des will go get it.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott's going to keep defenses honest. We always, going into the season, I was talking about how Tony Romo was going to keep defenses honest for Ezekiel Elliott. Now I'm reversing it. Zeke's power running game is going to keep defenses from being able to pin their ears back and come get Prescott. And frankly, Prescott's running ability is so good anyway.
Yeah, he can
that,
scramble away from
he can
pressure
scramble
when
away
it-
from
when it
things, and
comes.
he's going to pop with some big games with his leg over the course of this season. And I believe for fantasy purposes, he is a QB2, and you can start him on a fairly regular basis on an as needed basis, and hope that you're getting in that situation where he throws 1 or 2. He runs a touchdown in. He puts together 48 rushing yards, and the next thing you know, you've got a really nice game out of him.
So
that's going to happen.
So then before we move on to how this affects the other guys in redraft, how about dynasty? Is Dak Prescott let's just say
He's my
this,
number 1 rookie quarterback.
So is he a first round rookie dynasty
Yes.
draft player? Yeah. Mid first round, early first round,
No.
late first round.
I think he's a late first rounder because in the middle first round, I'm still getting Michael Thomas,
right.
who I feel really, really good about.
Tyler Boyd.
and
Tyler Boyd, Sterling
And then the
Shepard.
other part of it is just the quarterback position is just so deep.
Any other running back other than Zeke, obviously,
Derrick
and Derrick
Henry.
Henry
Yep.
that you would draft over Dak now?
Not right now. No, with all the question
the
marks on Kenneth
uncertainty
Dixon,
with
I can't. I would agree with that. I think it's just those
Yeah.
two.
So you've got it sounds. We've just mentioned 7 or 8 guys. So you've got him in the latter third of the first round.
Yes,
in dynasty.
and for redraft, Dak Prescott is my number 19. My number 19 quarterback coming out of this, which that's a second quarterback on most fantasy teams.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Des Bryant then. I think the second guy who's most affected by this. Brian, you did some great research on.
Well, yeah, I got to give credit to
quarterbacks.
Jacob Rickroad is his name. He's a writer for RotoViz. Follow him on Twitter at Clutch Fantasy But he dug up the stat that the only two rookie quarterbacks in the history of the NFL to support a wide receiver one fantasy season were Cam Newton with Steve Smith and Andrew Luck with Reggie Wayne. So if you want to put Dak Prescott on the Cam Newton,
I'm not ready to
Andrew
do that
Luck
yet,
tier,
no.
then you'll believe that he can support a wide receiver one season from Dez. But
Cam Newton wasn't anything special as a passing quarterback.
That's true.
Not in his rookie year either.
So,
No,
that is true. So,
but there's that also means there's 50 other guys in the last 10 years, whatever
that
haven't been able to support a wide receiver one. So I don't think any of us think that Dez is in for a season like last year, even when he was on the field and doing nothing, and Matt Castle was sending one hoppers his way. But obviously he gets hurt by this. I moved him from wide receiver 5 to wide receiver 9, and I might push him down from there. But right now he's at 9. Where do you guys? How much have you punished him?
That feels like about the right spot for me. I don't think I had him in my top 5 to begin with. He was probably in the 7-8 range, and I'll probably bump him down. Yeah, I probably got 10. 11
I actually, the funny
range.
thing is, I had nudged him up because Dak Prescott had been playing well, and I'm like, well, if Romo doesn't work out, I've got a viable,
that's what I was going to ask. You said you slotted Prescott into number 19. Romo couldn't have been that much higher in your redraft.
No, Romo was
to
like
begin with.
15, 16.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And Dak actually's got running ability that
I'm just
obviously
keeping
Romo
you
doesn't
honest.
have.
Make sure you're consistent here. You downgraded the quarterback a little bit, and now you downgraded Des Bryant a little bit.
Yeah.
It
All right.
makes
Well,
sense.
all right. Any other thoughts on Dez before we go to Zeke? I mean, we all think he's still going to be. Is he a wide receiver 1 anymore, or is he now a wide receiver 2?
he's on the cusp, on the fringe. Now he's more closer to the Mike Evans and Brandon Cooks rather than the DeAndre
AJ
Hopkins
Greens
and the
and
AJ.
DeAndre
Yeah, he's
Greens.
closer to the borderline top end wide receiver 2s than he is to the top end, to the Odell Beckham top end wide receiver 1 types.
I feel a lot better if Dez is my second wide receiver, so that I'm not pinning quite as much necessity on him to succeed.
Yep.
Let's go to Zeke Elliott. He was my number 1 overall running back. I put him down one spot, and I've put his auction value very similar to where I've got Todd Gurley at 3. So I've got Zeke at 2. I obviously I was really, really high on him, and I still am, and I still think he's an incredibly special back who's sitting on a very, very good year. But obviously this hurts. I mean, and as we have often said in the history of our radio show, Fantasy Football Weekly especially, if it hurts, anything that hurts the offense hurts everybody in the offense. There's no such thing as, well, if you take the quarterback out, now they're going to run, they're going to run that much more. That's anything that hurts the offense.
I mean, that's the other side of the argument, though, especially with the rookie. They may want to, protect him even more by giving it to Ezekiel Elliott. We heard all the talk about how many carries they were going to give to him. They certainly can't just run a rookie into the ground by giving it to him 25 times per game. But I feel like they're going to be tempted to do that just to hide Dak Prescott if he does struggle once defenses can game plan to protect him. That I agree with you, but there is a scenario where they actually give him the ball more now than they were planning to.
Sure, he probably will get more carries, but it'll be less efficient with them.
Yep.
Less effective with them, yes, because they're not. Defenses are going to be more able to just key on stopping Zeke. That's going to be job 1.
He's lucky he's so good in pass protection too, so he will stay on the field.
He
but
will.
They're going to need.
Yep. As good
really
as Zeke
backs.
looked last Thursday running the ball, his pass protection to me was even more important because he was brilliant in pass protection.
Yeah, and they've said that right from the start, that he's as complete a back as people have seen in a long time because he can do that. He can already pass
coming
protect.
out of college.
Yep.
That's a rare skill to get. I mean,
And supposedly
Adrian
not in shape yet.
Adrian Peterson's never gotten really good at that, and here we are 10 years into his career. All right, I think we've broken down. Is it Dan Bailey, Jason Witten? Do we need to go down that? Yeah, I was already very low on Witten, and I think he's still right around tight end 20. So no big changes there. I think.
Yeah, I don't know how often Dak was thrown to this tight end in preseason. I can't recall.
Well, he threw. Jason Witten turned an easy interception into a touchdown on one of Prescott's throws over the weekend. So there is that too. A couple of Prescott's touchdowns in the preseason have been a little bit of the jump ball variety that his players have come down with, but it wasn't, it wasn't a sure thing. So
I could see
again,
Witten being the one guy that might get a slight bump.
as the
Out of this, as
kind
a
of the safety
valve,
blanket.
Yeah, and you would
Terrence
think of a
Williams.
rookie.
Terrence Williams was not draftable in my mind before, and now he's
No.
now he's totally off the radar. And the guy he has no chemistry with, Dan Bailey. I mean, he never hooks up with Dan
That's
Bailey.
true.
Yeah, I mean, zero chemistry between Dak Prescott and Dan Bailey. All right, thank you for watching. We'll be back with more fantasy football almost daily before long. And before I go, if you want to follow us on Twitter, I am at Paul Charchian. You are at BTXJ. That's a lot of letters that sound like other letters. Boy, we got to come up with an acronym. Boy takes X-ray jovially.
Okay.
How does that sound? All right, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Well, not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know
all
how
right.
jovial you're going to be if you're in a spot where you need an X-ray, but maybe that's why it
Boy
works.
tinkles xylophone
Joyously.
Joyously. Yeah, can you tinkle a xylophone?
I don't
Because you
know.
tinkle
We
the
might need to work
ivories
on
when
it.
you're playing piano,
You
right?
tickle
I
them.
think
Not
it's
tinkle.
you tickle them, right?
Yeah, you tickle
You
them.
not tinkle.
Xylophone.
You don't
Boy
tinkle.
makes
You don't
sense.
tinkle on
Joyously.
the ivories.
You
You,
don't-
tickle
you
the ivories.
Tinkling on the ivories would be awesome.
I'm sure someone's tinkled on the ivories before.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sure.
happened.
Yeah.
You know it's happened. And Coolerheads 29
Yes.
at Coolerheads 29 for all your your ivory tinkling needs.
Yes.
You'll want to
There you
follow
go,
us
Charles.
on
Drink a
Twitter.
grain bell.
Yeah, who says I haven't already had 8 of them when I'm laughing at something this dumb. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks.